Hey everybody, this is not NC 17. This is a movie recap. You may remember me as the host, Josh, and today with us we have, you know, uh, an amazing person, awesome writer, director, all that other good stuff. We got Tyler Stanford. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you? I'm
Pretty
so
good.
excited to be here. Talk all
Oh yeah,
things Daredevil. It's my cup of tea.
oh yeah. So yes, we will be covering Daredevil: Born Again, season two, episode one. Uh, so let's just get right into it. We won't spoil too much, but we will have minor spoilers. But overall, what did you think of the first episode?
I loved it. I would give it a 7 out of 10. If Daredevil Born Again season 1, episode 1 was an 8 out of 10, this is a 7 out of 10. We're just getting started with the episode with this season, and they're introducing the story. They're continuing the storyline from last season, and it wastes no time. Like as soon as you watch the episode, we're right there in Daredevil's action and what he's doing with this episode. And overall, I liked it. I liked the character decisions and the way that the we're introducing the subplots for this whole season and this episode particularly. And I mean, while there's some stuff that I didn't like, I mean, we'll go into that. But overall, I think this is a great starting point for season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. And I think that it like the Fisk stuff is just amazing, and what we're seeing him doing, and Mr. Charles, Matthew Lillard as Mr. Charles as a new character in this season, in this show, in the larger MCU. He has ties to some cool like characters that we've seen. And so yeah, I overall I loved season 1, the Northern Star, episode 1. And what did you think of it? I'm curious.
Uh, I'm actually going to give it a little bit lesser of a score. I'm going to go with a 6.5.
Okay.
But the only reason is because coming off of the hills of what they've done with everything else, and like I liked all the action, I liked all the story building, but I think they threw in way too many Easter eggs for the first episode.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
You know, uh, but I do like the different aspects of like how they're portraying certain characters. Like Fisk is a bad guy,
Hmm.
but they're portraying him not only as a bad guy but also as a good guy.
Yes.
And I D'Onofrio, hands down, that's best Kingpin, plain and
Best
simple.
Kingpin. Best Kingpin.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh yeah. But I think that overall for the first episode, I think it was pretty good. I think it did the right things it needed to do to build, but again, I think so many Easter eggs took away. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
but
I agree with that.
yeah. But I will say my favorite part of the entire episode, uh, and it's going to be crazy because I've had conversations with some other people too. Uh, wasn't even a character; it was a prop. I am dying to know Mr. Charles's ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think my favorite part of this episode was the moments with Karen. Having, with the first season, originally it was supposed to be a reboot sequel before they uh did a creative overhaul with it. And originally Karen and Foggy weren't even gonna be in the first season of Daredevil Born Again. And so to have her finally, enter the fold again, like the Netflix shows, it is such a welcome return and something that was sorely missed in the middle chunk of Daredevil Born Again season 1. So I think my favorite parts were definitely with Karen, having them interact, having them kiss, and having them, you know, as a team, as like a resistance to Fisk's martial law fascist like Devil's Reign story is awesome. And then later in the season, we've seen it in the trailer, them having Jessica Jones enter in that mix, and potentially, hopefully, as our theorists brains work, having, Finn Jones' Iron Fist, or like Mike Coulter's Luke Cage coming in, or Colleen Wing, or some of the older Netflix heroes from the Marvel Knights era come in and helping them take on Fisk is going to be so great. But I think some of the favorite parts of me were seeing Karen and Matt um, just fuck shit up and,
Oh yeah.
be like themselves again with this new creative vision. And I'm all for it, honestly.
Oh yeah. Uh, I will say that I like, and for those of you out there who haven't seen it, I do like the placement of the story because, and I don't want to spoil that because if I do, then it's going to spoil something that is not out yet. But
Yeah.
if people who have watched it, they know, or maybe they don't know. But I do like that there's little. Watch the Spider-Man trailer. I'll tell you that. But I do like that the placement of this story takes place at a specific time to where it makes complete sense.
Yes. And, in this time of the MCU, the Void, the Sentry, and Thunderbolts happened, and then, after that, we're not so sure because the Fantastic Four takes place in another fucking universe. So, I mean, this spot makes sense. Like from Thunderbolts, so far, Thunderbolts and the rest of the MCU right now is just focused on street level. I don't know if you noticed that. Minus Fantastic Four, that's outside of the MCU 616. We have Thunderbolts, Ironheart, um, we have this Daredevil Born Again season 2. Then we go into Punisher One Last Kill in May, and then Spider-Man Brand New Day. Those are all street level projects. Those aren't really Avengers projects. So it is a well fitted, I agree with you, well fitted point for Daredevil. And it's awesome. Like I love street level stuff. I would much rather. I love that.
Oh yeah. Uh, I also I want to get your opinion on this because and I don't want to spoil it for people out there, but I'll just say you're welcome, and I know you know what I mean. Uh, that whole scene made Daredevil, in my opinion, and I want your opinion, more human.
You're talking with the stuff with Karen, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I agree. It makes him so much more human. Right now, for people who have seen Daredevil Born Again season 1, because of the after effects of the last episode, Matt is in hiding, and so he's more, he we don't. The rest of the world doesn't know where Matt Murdock is, but everybody knows where Daredevil is, and which is pretty funny. And so those moments with Karen reminiscing on Foggy, which what happened in the previous season, and like just yeah, it makes him feel more human, and I hope that we see more of that going into the later episodes. And yeah, I'm with you. I love this. I love to see the human sides of Matt, and uh just I'm just so happy Karen's back into the like mix again. Like I'm just so happy.
oh yeah. What do you think of the suit upgrade?
It is. Let me tell you. Okay, I've had my issues with the Netflix suits for a long time. So to finally see not only the double D's on the first ever Daredevil suit in the MCU, but also an all black version of the of the suit is just it is just awesome. So I love it. It's like one of the best comic book suits that we've gotten. And the double D's, I mean, I guess there's a story reason why he didn't get it, but like I'm so as a comic book nerd, all right, finally seeing on the pages Daredevil have the double D's just hits different. And when you see it in the live action in the season 1, episode 1, it's just gonna hit different. And it hit different for me. Let me tell you that. Like I was just grinning ear to ear seeing the double D's. So yeah, I love the suit. It's just
Uh,
awesome.
uh, what like I was saying earlier, I think the Easter eggs took away a little bit, but there were a few Easter eggs that were kind of like, like the broken badge at the beginning there in the intro, that
Hmm.
badge number, if anyone knows,
Yes.
that number is very specific for a very specific reason. uh, but for you, it's a first issue. It's a main issue. I'll just say that. Uh, but our first time. But I do want to say that I do like. I'm kind of split on the Easter eggs. 50% of them I think could have been left out for like sprinkled throughout the whole season.
Yes.
But I also think that 50% of the ones that were in there made sense because I don't know if you know, but there were very, very subtle little things. Like I've seen the episode a couple times, but there was a very brief reference of Ant-Man.
I didn't catch that.
Oh
Really?
yeah.
Where was it? If you want to get
So
into it, if you want to get into Easter eggs, I don't know if
uh,
they count as spoilers.
I don't think they're spoilers, but I'll just say when you see the sign that says F Fisk,
Yeah.
if you pause it and you look at the very bottom, you see a little ant,
Oh
and
yeah.
then right next to it says man, and I'm like, all right, I get
Oh,
it.
okay. All right. Yeah. What did you Okay, so minus that one, I didn't even know about that one. The big Easter egg that we get is when Fisk is in the office and he's surrounded by the deputy general. I think that's what it is. No, the attorney general and the deputy lieutenant governor or whatever the fuck his name
Yeah,
is. And they're talking about oversight and what Fisk is doing, and then he gets a call from Miss Allegra, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, who we see in Thunderbolts, who we've seen in Hawkeye, who we've seen in Black Widow, as sort of this main little figure, and we've seen in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And she assembles the Thunderbolts, later renamed to the New Avengers. What did you think of that as the connection to the larger MCU? Do you think Mr. Charles, obviously he does have ties, but do you
oh
think
yeah.
Mr. Charles, could we see Matthew Lillard, in a Thunderbolt sequel or something like that? What was your thoughts on that little hint?
Uh, I liked it, but I didn't like it. I liked it because it did broaden their horizon for the show and for the characters in the show.
Mm,
I didn't like it because I thought it was too early.
too early. Okay. Do you
Yeah.
think it made sense compared to some of the other Easter eggs?
Oh yeah, out of all of them, that was the one that made the most sense.
Yeah,
You know,
I thought so too.
I do want to say though, I think Matthew Lillard's going to probably be in at least two or three more outside of Daredevil, Born Again. He'll probably be in two or three more Marvel movies or
Mhm.
shows, and I think the significance of that ring is going to make people see some red.
Yeah, I think. I mean, honestly, I don't think they would waste Matt on a. I don't think they would waste talent like Matthew Lillard on just one show in the MCU that's like, you know, it has its connections. It's set in the MCU, but it's not really going to reference the Avengers or like the Thunderbolts or the Fantastic Four or, in Phase 7, the X-Men. So like I don't think they would waste that on that. Now, Mr. Charles is a really like he's really mysterious. Once we get introduced to him, we don't really know who he is, what his real name is. All we know is Mr. Charles, and all we know is that he's stationed in Langley and that he has connections to Valentina. Now, I think because of the connections to Valentina, I think there is going to be, hopefully because Thunderbolts was good, I think he's going to be in a Thunderbolt sequel, or I mean maybe a Spider-Man Brand New Day, or like I think they're cooking up something with him, and I think this is not gonna be the last we see of him. Uh Definitely not. If so, Marvel Studios is they gotta work something out over there.
Oh yeah. Uh, so I will say, this is outside of like just Daredevil right now. I will say that with the ending of Avengers Endgame, like I think Marvel kind of had like that bumpy road. But
Definitely.
I think Daredevil is putting it back on a flat surface.
Yeah, I remain adamant that this is the Daredevil Born Again is the best Marvel television show that we've gotten in a while. Ironheart was all right, but like I Agatha all along that I mean I wasn't really a fan of it. The last, not to get into my controversial opinions here, but I think the last enjoyable, great show was probably I mean, it was probably Hawkeye for me. I mean, I loved Loki. I haven't seen Loki season two because I've just been caught out of the loop of like the Marvel multiverse saga with its bumpy roads that we yeah that you touched on. Oh my God. And I mean I loved Werewolf by Night, and that's a television special. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, but like in terms of shows, I they just haven't been really they haven't been really doing it for me compared to the Netflix shows, compared to the ABC shows that have now been canceled. And just like we some of them are canon like the Netflix shows, some of them are just iffy in the air right now, which is where they're in a weird spot.
Oh
So
yeah.
I don't I yeah.
What I do like about Daredevil Born Again, though, even though it is just episode one, they're not holding no punches. They're not holding nothing back. You know, I mean the beginning. I mean, I love the way that they're using the colors of everything. Also,
Yes.
but the one thing that stands out the most to me, and maybe it's because I've been behind the camera before, but I think was the cinematography.
The cinematography, yes. Oh my
You know,
gosh.
because it was like every single shot served the purpose to up the ante on the next shot. You know,
I agree.
and
And
I
like
oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. Oh, no, no, okay. I agree with you wholly. I think the cinematography of Daredevil Born Again, while it's not on the level of the Netflix Daredevil show of yesteryear, I think the Daredevil Born Again cinematography that we got is so beautiful. The way they do Daredevil senses, we see a switch aspect ratios and just focus in on a little tiny thing that he's listening to is just brilliant. And like Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson, the directors, like have like I like I've seen interviews where they're just like gushing on the cinematography. And I agree. The shots, like with Karen and Matt, they look so beautiful in the sun with the sun draping in and everything. And just like the red in the like in the ship, the Northern Star, it's I loved the cinematography. And I think the thing that has made me the most happy is because they're not skimping on the violence that I
Yes.
was afraid of with Disney and Marvel uh, continuing on Daredevil. Because in the first season, we see some really violent stuff with Fisk, you know, doing what he does best. All right. And then with Daredevil breaking arms and all this other stuff. I'm really happy that they're not skipping on the violence. And I think in this episode, they're not skipping on the violence. And I don't think they're going to be skipping on the violence this whole season because I trust them. Now that we've seen what they're doing, I trust them wholeheartedly. And yeah, I love it. I love the violence that we get in this episode. And I think it's really exciting as a Daredevil fan and as Marvel fans
Oh yeah.
that Daredevil's back better
Oh
than
yeah.
ever.
Oh yeah. I do want to say, like, watching the Netflix show compared to this one, even in season one of Born Again, I see little differences. Like in a Netflix show, anytime that Daredevil was about to attack, you barely heard him.
Mhm.
And Born Again, you hear him, but he's still fucking you up.
Yes.
And I think that brings more of a realistic view because I mean, let's face it, Batman to me is probably, and this is going to be a very controversial take. Batman next to Aquaman and Green Lantern are my three least favorite superheroes of all time.
Wow. Okay, we man, I got some stuff to say about that, but continue.
Well, the only reason is because like let's take Daredevil, and I mean the dude's blind.
Yeah.
You know, he's obviously got to use his senses in other ways. He gets the job done, but he gets it done realistically. When Batman, the dude jumps out of a 50-story building and somehow still lands without like a fucking feather.
Yeah.
You don't
Like
hear him.
we see Matt get hurt in
Yes.
the OG Netflix show and in Born Again season one with the hospital scene. And so I think we're gonna see Matt get hurt in this season. And like I think I agree with you. He is more realistic. Uh Probably because Daredevil's more cooler than Batman, honestly. I will say that. That's a controversial one. And I love the thing the thing that was sorely missing for me, in terms of his in Daredevil's realness, like portraying the real side of him, Matt Murdock and Daredevil having both like a realistic portrayal and like affecting their decisions was his Catholic guilt. We see that all throughout the Netflix seasons of Daredevil, and I think we only subtly get the Catholic guilt and him being Catholic in Daredevil Born Again, and it's not as present as I really wanted it to be, as a Daredevil fan. I hope that we get to see some of that in Daredevil Born Again season two, and I think because it's his character, he's supposed to
Yeah.
be this morally, like he hurts people, but he also regrets it because he's Catholic and he doesn't want to be doing this stuff. So I hope we get to see more of that, and I think I agree with you. I think Daredevil is more realistic than Batman.
Oh yeah. Uh, One thing that stands out to me, and again, this is maybe just because I've seen it a couple times, but what stands out to me is like every single person that is in season two this far has served a purpose of something that happened in part one or season one, but in a different way. Like Matt Murdock is being tortured because of what happened in season one and what happened in the Netflix series and stuff. But you take him and then you take Karen or Fisk. Even Fisk is even bothered with some of the stuff that happened in season one and stuff. But I think Fisk is just a suicidal, or not suicidal, a homicidal freak, which I think suits that character because the comics, yeah, that's who he is. You know,
Yeah. I Really quick, what was your overall thoughts for Daredevil Born Again season one?
as the entire season progressed, like I think some episodes were better than others, but that's a given.
Definitely.
But as a whole, I think by the end of season one, everything that happened throughout that whole season made it to where that was the only way that was going to be the outcome.
Yeah.
So,
I I agree with you full wholeheartedly. I mean, overall, I guess I'm biased, but like I would give the overall season an 8, an 8.5 out of 10. I think I agree with you. There's definitely some better episodes than others. That bank episode was definitely not my favorite. And I think it just with the way the story was going and with the way that they were telling things, I didn't think it would make sense for them to do that because it's this grandiose story that as a comics fan, if you've read Devil's Reign, you know that they're going to be doing. We saw that with Echo and like in the Echo show, and so like if this is this comics event that you're going to be doing in television format, I don't think we would wait. I don't think we need to be wasting time doing this little fun episode. I think that can be saved for season three. But I digress. I liked the way the show ends by episodes 8 and 9 of season one, and I think, oh my God, watching those episodes, I was just like in awe because like this felt so much like a not even like a like it's not an Avengers level movie event, but like it felt like okay, we're ramping up to something big. Like this is the first
Oh yeah.
time in the MCU's television show's history that I felt like since WandaVision, honestly, that we were ramping up to something big and like it was going to have an effect on the street level side of the MCU. So I
Oh yeah.
definitely I'm on the agree, but I think I'm a little bit higher on Daredevil Born Again season one.
Well, for season one, I will rate it roughly around a 7.9 to an 8. Conservatively, I'll go 8.
Yeah,
But I also think that with season two, I think as we go into the more episodes and we get into more of the story and certain characters appear or reappear, I believe that the overall arc of season two has, hands down, every episode has to be better than the previous.
definitely. I think this season has a lot more stakes to it. I mean, I think it has a lot more writing on it because it's not only going to be continuing some subplots and plot lines from the previous season, but it also has to set up a lot of what's going to happen not only in season three, but also Punisher One Last Kill that's coming out and Spider-Man Brand New Day potentially. And I mean, I don't know. I guess that's more like Sony or something, but I think it has a lot riding on it personally. But if they stick the landing, if they really stick the landing here, I think they can potentially have a great all-timer season on their hands in terms of the MCU.
Oh yeah. All right, so we got about 9 minutes left. So at the end of for the last couple minutes of every episode of movie recap, we, the co-host gets to give their final thoughts on the what we've covered so far. So, what are your final thoughts for Daredevil Born Again season 2 episode 1?
I think season two, episode one is a great introduction and is a great starting point into a larger season that has yet to unfold as of yet. And I think it wastes no time introducing characters that and like it just wastes no time getting into the story of it all. Especially, I love the characters, especially Heather's. We didn't touch on Heather, like at all, but I think Heather's decision making. Um, and like her being haunted by Muse. I think that's brilliant. I think the stuff with Karen is probably my favorites of this episode and probably of this season so far. I'm just so happy that Karen is finally back and doing things again, unlike what happened in season one of Daredevil Born Again, where she only did things in like the last two episodes. I think the Fisk stuff that we see is we'll see more of him as the show progresses, but I think right now what we're seeing of him is more of him beginning to see, wow, I do not like politics at all. Like I just want to bash this guy's head in, Mr. Charles, and I just want to do things my own way. He has to now deal with the attorney general and the president and all this other bullshit. He's like, I don't want to do any of this. I want to make New York City a hellhole. And I and like I just love that and I want to see more of Vanessa too. I want to see more of Vanessa in the show. And I think the things that I didn't like, I we just focused on way too much in this episode instead of focusing on like one thing at a time with each episode. Overall, I loved it. I give it a 7 out of 10, maybe a 7.5 on a good day, but right now it's a 7, and I think this is a great start to a potentially great, awesome season of Marvel television.
I'm going to ditto some of what you say. I will say that some of the things I hope they lean into is more of the, and this is going to sound weird, but the graphicness of the language Because
Yes.
see, they give you all the graphic of violence, but like the words are just you could drop an F bomb anywhere, but like you got
Yeah.
to make it make sense.
You
So,
got it right.
but other than that, I think the very first episode of season two, I think was solid. Uh, Comfortably, I will go 7
Okay.
comfortably.
So we
Uh,
agree.
yeah, but I do hope they ramp up, not in a like speed bike way, but like up the ante every episode, but don't really up the ante too much until you're halfway through the season.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree.
so uh, but that has been movie recap. We hope you enjoy this when you see this, and please make sure you comment, like, subscribe, all the good stuff. And Tyler, I want to thank you. It's been awesome. I don't
Been
talk.
awesome.
Oh yeah, I don't talk Marvel with a lot of people, so
Yeah, I would love to talk Marvel with anybody. Everybody that I know and everybody that can like I got people that can vouch for me. They know I love superheroes so fucking much. And so I get to talk shit. And I know this ain't a movie. We kind of been in the rules a little bit with this, but like it's a show. I don't care. Like it's a great episode.
oh yeah. Well, actually, so I mean, you do raise a good point. I want to kind of say this. It is not a movie, but it's definitely tied into movies.
It is. Yes.
So
It's in the
so
MCU after all, so
oh yeah, so bending the rules, I think we will allow this one.
yeah.
But tune in again next time. We will have someone else with us because we are in the search of a co-host. And as co-hosts go, I will say, Tyler, you are a very solid co-host.
Well,
So
thank you.
you're welcome. And you're very knowledgeable about stuff, which is a good thing.
Yes. Mostly superheroes, but I'm knowledgeable about some other stuff.
Oh yeah. Before we go, I will give you a moment to plug your socials where people can reach out to you, maybe Marvel fans alike, and you guys can strike up a conversation.
Yeah, man. My Instagram is at it's Tyler Stanford, all lowercase, all one word. My Facebook is just Tyler Stanford. I'm probably the first one to come up. I don't know any of the other cool Tyler Stanfords in the world, but it's just me. The profile picture is just me, that I took a picture in my backyard with the blue sky in the background. So you'll find me on there. My Twitter, I don't ever post on there. I just reply, but it's vacancy Tyler. And uh, my YouTube is Weston Jefferson Productions. I'm probably the first one to come up. That's where I post all my films. And my Facebook, which is Tyler Stanford, is where I post news and all sorts of stuff about my films. That's and Instagram too. So those two places are where you're gonna be finding out about my filmmaking stuff because I am a filmmaker. And other than that, I don't have any other socials. So
All right.
yeah.
All right. Everybody, thank you for watching when you do see this. We record, then we post. See? That way I don't edit. So what you see is what you get.
What you see is
uh
what you
oh yeah. It's been awesome. And for everybody out there in movie land, if there is a movie you would like us to review, let us know. Until next time, stay awesome.
Peace.